Hey and welcome. I'm Dave and you are listening to Life Is Peachy, a music-driven, nostalgia-fueled, immersive audio documentary podcast. With each episode always featuring a special guest from the album of discussion.
Excellent.
Life is Peachy allows me to sit here with you and waffle on about the bands and the albums that became the soundtrack to my life.
Say something for the record. Tell the people what you feel.
Growing up in the 90s and the early 2000s to now, shooting music videos and music documentaries for some of my favorite artists through Life Is Peachy Productions.
Action.
You know, I can eat a peach for hours.
Lips, let's jump into that time machine together. It's time to... Step into the sideshow! Okay, I'm diving straight into this one because my journey with this band has been covered across other releases, and if you're new here or have somehow missed them, they'll all be linked for you in the description for this very episode.
I don't know how we got here.
Spineshank need no introduction. They are sprinkled throughout this podcast and the Lip universe. From a silent civilian interview with Johnny Santos, when at the time Spineshank were merely a long-lost afterthought, laid to rest and dead in the water.
We take this to our grave! Let me hear it!
By the time I finished touring, it was late 2012, early 2013. I was exhausted. I was tired. The business was changing. I wasn't necessarily happy where I was with the higher ups. I just wasn't happy as an artist and I was exhausted. So I felt that point in time, still touring the Ghost Stories album. Plus I'd been touring Spineshank's last record as well. So I was pulling double duty and, things hadn't worked out for the last Spineshank record either. There was a massive merger and we got lost in the shuffle. So that really sucked,
To go on to actual Spineshank reunion announcements exclusive to Life is Peachy and 20th anniversary celebrations of Self-Destructive Pattern. To where we are now, right here to celebrate the album that most likely broke all of us into the band and has stayed on high rotation ever since. That being their timeless sophomore released in the year 2000 via Roadrunner Records, The Height of Callousness. The Height of Callousness. The name of it alone sends shivers down my spine, a shockwave of awe across into the stratosphere.
Engine gone. 5, 4, 3. All engines running. Lights connect. Liftoff. We have liftoff.
Tommy Decker became a fan of the podcast and I could not wait to have him on here for his very own episode. He of course made his Lip debut with Johnny for Self-Destructive Patterns episode 28, but now he's here flying solo. The man behind the kit and the collaborative writer and producer of The Height of Callousness, an album that catapulted Spineshank into legacy status at the turn of the century, delivering a body of work that not only reinvented the band, but cemented and stamped them into the books of timeless, nostalgic music.
Hey, Alec, do you know what sucks about being a Baldwin? No, what? Nothing! Tommy Decker, let's do this and deep dive the fan favorite,
the critical darling, and the album for the ages. Welcome back, and thank you for returning to Life Is Peachy. It's so good to have you, man.
Good to be back, man. Thank you for having me back. I love doing the first one, so it's good to do it again.
You know, this is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee. I can't tell you how many cups of coffee in my life, and this is one of the best.
Well, I was just making my coffee before and thinking how awesome it is to do this and to be able to just hang out again.
Yeah, me too. And I think I told you I went back and I listened to a bunch of your podcasts.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Went down the rabbit hole. I really liked them. I enjoyed a lot of them.
Thank you, man. Yeah, that's awesome. It kind of blows my mind, to be honest.
It really is cool because a lot of these bands and a lot of these, I toured with these guys and then we were there like at the same time. And it's weird, even though, I'm in a band and they're like peers of mine, I still have that fan aspect inside me. Yeah. Especially the stuff that, when I was younger, but to hear the Head PE, how those records came about, because we toured with them for so long and they're such good friends of ours, and just little nuances and the little things that people don't know happen. It's just fun, man. You get hooked.
I really appreciate that. I mean, that's one of the big aims of the podcast, because I personally do this for albums I love and a lot of the music I grew up with. So I'm hungry to find out and learn more about anything centered around that time and place and that body of work. Especially because 20, 30 years ago, there were obviously, some great magazines, but the access to information was definitely a lot more scarce. Just harder to come across unless a band released a home video on VHS. It was only then that you could really, get that peek behind the curtain, so to say. And that's what I'm wanting to do here, really, replicate that feeling. I tried to do the same thing with my video documentary work too.
Yeah, well, David is incredible, and he's added so much to the visuals of letting people really see the true simple tour of what's really going on with us. And I love working with Dave. I'm looking forward to doing more with him in the future, and his work is phenomenal. It just really touches a lot of people, and I've heard such amazing feedback from everything that we've worked on with him.
And for a lot of these albums, there are still a lot of questions, a lot of unknowns because of that time and place. And when it comes to the makings of them, the dynamics of the band at the time, stuff like that. Memories from tour, whatever it may be. And when you love music, when you love the art and connect to it, naturally you want to know all you can about it. And the more you know, the deeper that connection can get, right? The more you can enjoy it.
Oh yeah, I was thinking, when I was a kid and it was like Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses, I would have been able to hear the stories, right? You get an interview from Hit Parader magazine or Rip magazine every couple times a year, but that was it, and you didn't know all the little things, you didn't know all the real shit that happened. So cool time we live in for that.
Oh yeah.
I always tell the girls, never take it seriously. If you never take it seriously, you never get hurt. If you never get hurt, you always have fun. And if you ever get lonely, you just go to the record store and visit your friends.
And the cool thing is we are getting to do that for an album you're now discovering in a whole new way. Discovering that there is this immense love and respect for it after all this time, a quarter of a century. It's just one of those albums. Man, the Height of Callousness has aged like a fine wine. I feel in many ways it could still come out today and be innovative and hit just as hard, leading the pack.
It's funny because we were saying the same thing. Me and my son were like, there's bands that are doing the same shit right now,
Yeah, for real. But this album's 25 years old. That's crazy, man.
It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum.
So Okay, Tommy, here we go. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the sentence, the Height of Callousness 25-year anniversary?
Damn, I'm old.
I think that's what you said with the 20th anniversary of Self-Destructive Pattern.
Did we?
When you hear the sentence, self-destructive pattern, 20th anniversary, what's the first thing that comes to mind? How does that make you feel?
Old.
Yeah, definitely old.
When I was writing this question, I was wondering, is he gonna say the same thing?
Yeah, that's the first thing. Just like the only thing I could think of is because the years since have just like flown by, and I was like, wow. I'll see pictures. I still get told that I look very young. You know, a lot of people are like, well, you look like you're maybe 30, 35 years old. And it's like, oh, thank God. But
Yeah.
In reality, it's like, wow, my life's half over. But yeah, I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of.
Remember, Sally, when I promised to kill you last?
That's right, Major. You did.
I lied.
But you still got people out there like Machine Head still crushing it, Fear Factory, and then, you know, the Biohazard's still doing it. These guys are like a generation, not a generation, but they're a few years older than us. They're still killing it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is, but maybe it seems a lot of bands come out young, go hard and fast, maybe burn out, and then experience a lull. And then later in life, they have this newfound appreciation and zest, and there's this grounded center point within themselves. And that now kicks in if the passion for all of it is still there. And of course, if you're still mentally and physically able to play the music. But yeah, I imagine that reflection and appreciation kicks in. That sense of legacy kicks in. And so there's this desire and zest to do it again, but do it right. And in a way that wasn't done before. Healthy, sustainable, perhaps from the heart, and driven only by pure intentions and outcomes. If we backtrack just a little, what were the lessons learned about the band, the songs, and yourself from the experience of touring your first album, Strictly Diesel, that impacted the writing of The Height of Callousness?
Well, the funny thing is when we did Diesel, we had it done, and it was the first time we had ever recorded anything professionally. So we heard it, and we're like, oh, we're about to be millionaires. It's great. Yeah, we made it. We're the best. Yeah, this is a platinum album, no doubt, without a doubt.
Here comes the money. Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money.
And then it came out, and then you get on tour with Sepultura, and you get on tour with Slayer, and you play with these legendary bands, and it's pretty humbling, you know? You're like, wow. You see Slayer playing Angel of Death in front of 20,000 people, and the entire place is losing their mind. And it kind of made me look at our little songs and say, oh, I think we got to rethink this. I think that was the biggest part, was just seeing these professional bands that were like really, really, you know, bands we looked up to, the way they did things and the way it worked. And you also see what works with the crowd, you know, like this kind of part that we thought was so cool, and nobody seemed to like it. And other things that I didn't think this part mattered at all, and you get the whole place jumping. So it kind of made us write a little more geared towards live show. Oh, by the way, we didn't become millionaires, and we didn't go. So we were a little bit pissed off at that point. So I think just knowing what we saw, what we learned, and then that anger, we knew what we had to do with Height of Callousness, and that's why I think it came out the way it did. It was just such a different mind frame going back the next time. So things that we might have been afraid to do before, we weren't afraid this time. Just do it. What's going to happen? We already know we tried this and that didn't work. So if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But, you know, we've never been afraid to just try anything and throw it against the wall and see if it sticks. And it seems like on this record, most of it did.
Yeah, do it. Stick around.
The progression and evolution between the two albums, man, it's night and day. If you listen to the first two albums back to back, it really hits this home and puts it all into clear-cut perspective.
See, Mr. Gibbs, most people never have to face the fact that
the right time, the right place, they're capable of anything.
Because, not that my opinion matters, man, but I remember when I first heard
Still Bolt
on a Roadrunner sample CD called Bend Your Knees, and that was, it was my first introduction to Spineshank. The Height of Callousness wasn't even out yet, I think. And I remember thinking, oh yeah, I mean, this is pretty cool, It was on a sample CD with Amen, Soulfly, Slipknot, and another new cool band called Out. So in comparison, to be honest, it kind of fell to the wayside for me. But when the magazines I was getting, Metal Hammer and their complimentary new music CDs, they started featuring new music from the then upcoming The Height of Callousness. And that's when I stopped in my tracks and took a second glance. Wait, what? Is this the same band? What album are these songs from? Everything was on a whole new level.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely was, because I started playing drums when I was like 10 years old, and I was listening to Rat and Motley Crue and all that stuff. That was what the music was at the time. But I just fell in love with it so much that as soon as music became a thing for me, that's all I wanted to do.
They're not dumb kids. I wasn't a dumb kid. Just because you like rock and roll doesn't make you stupid or insignificant.
Eventually I moved on to Slayer and Sepultura and the thrash bands. No matter what happened in my life, girlfriend breaks up with you, get kicked out of your house, whatever it was, there was still music there. And I was just so driven. So that's all I ever wanted to be. To think that you come so close, you sign a record deal, which is everyone thinks that's it, you made it once you sign a deal. To come so close and then for it to watch it all go away would have just been, I don't know if I would have survived that. So it really was just in so many different ways, I think for each of us, and then collectively, we all had that same mindset. We're not going without a fight.
In '87, Huey released this, 4, their most accomplished album. I think their undisputed masterpiece is Hip to Be Square. A song so catchy, most people probably don't listen to the lyrics, but they should, because it's not just about the pleasures of conformity and the importance of trends, it's also a personal statement about the band itself. Hey, Paul!
In terms of that in-studio experience, what did Strictly Diesel teach you?
We learned everything not to do on that record, and it was the first time that we had ever really properly been recorded. I mean, that really was like an eye-opening experience. What it made me learn a lot is that when we write songs, like it would just be the four of us in a room, and we would write this song, and you're kind of hearing it in your head, and it's like, okay, this sounds great, this song is awesome. And then when you hear the playback, it's like, it doesn't sound like I thought it did, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think like that's one of the parts of recording that's so important, is that you can actually hear it back for what it really is. And that was a big thing we learned on Diesel, that you got to record it and you got to be able to hear it back and make sure that what you're hearing in your head is actually what's being laid down the tape and what actually comes out of the speakers. So that was a big lesson.
And then specifically, as a drummer, recording drums for your first major studio album, were there any surprises for you within your craft and your execution within that whole experience? Anything you weren't prepared for that made you realize, okay, coming into the Height of Callousness, I need to step it up, or I need to focus more on this?
Well, I had never played to a click before. Diesel was the first time I ever did it. Luckily, I was able to do it without a problem. So when we wrote everything for Callousness, everything was done to click and was recorded and practiced to click. So that was a big deal. There was a time, when you just wanted to be flashy, and I wanted to be Tommy Lee, and I wanted to, flip my sticks all the time. And when you're in the studio, everything's precise, and you got to be dead on, and you got to be well practiced. You can't go out the night before and have a few beers. You need to sleep. Because it really takes a lot out of you. It's very stressful because, it's time consuming. And say you make one mistake and then you start making more mistakes, and then you make more mistakes before you realize that, you've taken a whole day and you've messed everything up. So you really just got to practice. And that was the main thing for me. Practice, and play what's right for the song. Like, play solid. Don't worry about trying to be the flashiest drummer out there. I mean, there's always a better drummer. So you're never going to be, at least I'm never going to be the best guy. So I would just try to play what's right for the song and what sounded cool to me.
Never give up hope. At least not so early in the fight.
Raiden?
It's a new look.
I think you really showcased that and then some on the Height of Callousness, without a doubt, with your drumming.
What we do is, if we need that extra push over the cliff, you know what we do?
Put it up to
11, exactly.
I think the album itself is such a step up, and it's just so damn aggressive for many reasons, but one of them is because it's led by that drumming. In honoring that emotion, your drumming is quintessential, I think, to the overall recipe of what Spineshank is all about and known for.
Thank you, I appreciate that. You ever see a band with a terrible drummer and it's like, well, you guys got nothing, So I do my best to just try to leave that solid foundation for these guys and put all these pieces together, and hopefully it works.
Wow, you're amazing, dude.
Thanks. I like to play.
What's crazy to me is that when we were touring, for this record in particular, it was like 16 or 18 months, depending on who you ask. But it was just nonstop. We never went home. We couldn't stop because we would, okay, great, we got this tour. You got a Sepultura tour. You got a Fear Factory tour. You got a Type O Negative tour. And you can't turn any of those down. So we were like, okay, just go. Just keep going. And then it was like, well, you're going home in August. Well, we got a tour in August. We got Ozfest. We're not turning that down. And then we got another tour. And it was just... I don't know if you remember, we talked about how all our equipment got stolen during the Strictly Diesel tour.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So we saw all our dreams crash in front of us, and they were like, that was it. It was over. We got to do it for like 9 months, and it ended. So when we got the chance with Height of Callousness to do it again, it was like, you know what? Just go nuts. Like, every possible way, go nuts, because we know this thing could fall apart and be taken away at the drop of a hat. So we might have partied a little too much. We might have, got a little too crazy. But this record was do or die.
The action is the juice.
I don't have any regrets about this record whatsoever. We wanted every opportunity we can get, and we weren't going to turn anything down. So it was just play. And after a while, it's like, these same 10 songs, you know, the same 12 songs or whatever it is, you do get burned out. Now, like, you know, all these years later, I'm looking forward to playing those same songs, you know?
Yeah, I'm really happy to hear that. For nearly 18 months of touring, I'm just wrapping my head around that. It's such a massive life commitment. And if you have any idea what goes into a singular tour, let alone 18 months worth of touring and festivals, that's a huge chunk of life and energy. And to continue setting the scene coming into the Height of Callousness with the expectation of Strictly Diesel flatlining, falling short, you could even say, with regards to recording the album and thinking, this is it, we got it boys, we've made it. And hearing Roadrunner Records considering its performance underwhelming, were there pressures from the record label placed on the band coming into this sophomore, and what was that relationship like with Roadrunner Records at the time?
You know, there was really no pressure from them. They were very cool at the time.
Oh, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, it definitely was. But the problem with Diesel was that we hadn't found our identity yet. We were just a band that, you know, you can hear our influences. You could tell who we liked and listened to because the songs kind of emulated that. So with Height of Callousness, Roadrunner said, just go ahead and do it. And they left us literally for as long as it took to write that record. We would check in with them and they said, yeah, everything's fine, just keep writing. But the pressure was within ourselves. We knew it was a do or die position, and if this record doesn't take off, then that's it. A lot of bands that happens to, you know, they get one record, and we were getting lucky enough to get a second record, so we had to make it amazing. We had to do the best we possibly could. So we did, and we were just in the studio 12 hours a day. Roadrunner gave us a little bit of money, and I'm talking like maybe $100 a week for each of us to live off of. So, I mean, none of us got day jobs. We just suffered while we made this record, which probably helped the process and made the anger come out a little bit more.
God, he doesn't like to be second guessed. You ask me if I have a God complex? Let me tell you something. I am God.
When you know you're in that position where it's like do or die, it really like changes your way of thinking, because it's not like, we'll just do it tomorrow. There might not be tomorrow. So we better do this today and we better get it right today. So just keep working, keep working. Doesn't matter if the sun's coming up, just go. And that's what we did for the longest time.
Yeah, wow, okay. That really sets the scene for the commitment and headspace surrounding the Height of Callousness, and no doubt that within itself would have created an immense band chemistry, right? And a camaraderie for the album's recording. That must have felt pretty amazing.
It was, and it was like a very bipolar experience too, because there's times when you just felt like there's no way we're going to crawl out of this. This is hopeless. And then, you know, pure despair. What's the point? Why even go on? And then you write Asthmatic and you're like, dude, this is it. We're on the right track. And then you're super excited. But it seems it's so far away. So it's like you're in this weird little island. You're stuck there by yourselves. It was a crazy time. It was definitely a crazy time. But I mean, we all just lived and breathed the band. So, I mean, that helped.
You're doing great. You know, the only true currency in this bankrupt world is what you share with someone else when you're uncool.
Well, it's a real testament to you guys how serious you took your make or break shot, your second chance, knowing that it was actually all out there on the line. I keep harping on about it, I guess, because it's one of the things that adds to the Height of Callousness and why this album is the album. That immense evolution. I don't want to say they sound like different bands, but with this one, you can really hear the path to finding the band's voice and identity and honing in on your sound and your craft.
Here we go.
Yeah, that was another thing. We didn't really think of it at the time, but we were like carving out the Spineshank sound. This is who we are, because there was no more like, hey, let's sound like this band or let's do a song like this. It was just let's write the most angry, pissed off music we can write. And I think Johnny came into his own as a vocalist. Everyone just kind of found their little niche and like, hey, this is where I am. You know, I might not be the biggest shredder in the world, but this is what I do, and this is what I do in this band, and it works with what Johnny does in the band and with what Rob does in the band. So it's like the sum is more than the parts.
Even just mentioning Johnny coming into his own, oh yeah, I mean, that's so true. That's just another great example right there of what I was talking about before. The drums being an element so essential to the overall Spineshank recipe, and then of course there's Johnny. He's a force to be reckoned with, man. And as a performance on this album, we'll go into it a little later with Garth, just all four of you really stepped it up. And with drawing on so much from the inner self to deliver this make or break sophomore, and for it to be riddled with so much drive and emotion, there's obviously a lot to prove, a lot of anger and frustration. A lot of the lyrics throughout the album are credited to you. So can you talk about the themes and lyrical inspiration within and beyond that for the Height of Callousness?
I guess there were like little things in my life, but it was mainly just the things that were in my head. I wasn't writing about something that happened or like a breakup or anything like that. It was just the thoughts that were in my head and like how I would feel. Like I said earlier, how, you know, go to the studio and you're there for 12 hours and you don't write anything, and it's just pure frustrated, not quite sadness, but just hopelessness kind of. And there'd be days like that, and writing did kind of help, you know. Well, at least I'm being productive right now, and I could write some lyrics that'll maybe help.
Well, why is it that I have to figure things out and explain them to you? What do you do?
I say what I mean, and I do what I say.
It goes with me. What I've done is bigger than the helplessness I felt. It comes around without a face and redefines my subconscious again. I can't be fixed. I can't be fixed. I can't be fixed. 'Cause I won't give. I can't be fixed. I can't be fixed.
But yeah, it was just basically the stuff in my head and what I was going through at the time and how I felt. And so it's a very personal record. I mean, for me and Johnny both.
And coming into talking about Johnny's performance and his side of the writing, he's obviously singing a collection of lyrics that you've written and delivering them with such intense emotion and force. What was the process between the two of you collaborating on that side of things? You know, if you have written this set of lyrics and then he's got to go into the booth and bleed it out and sing them like they're his own thoughts and feelings.
Reverse the chord, turn on the sense. It's meaningless if I can't be ashamed. I like myself, I do the need. The only thing that isolates me now. I can't be fixed.
But they're your words, your thoughts and feelings. How did you guys work back and forth with that process, that dynamic?
I mean, it just kind of came out effortlessly.
What? Did we just become best friends?
We're similar in a lot of the ways, especially during that time. We were probably having a lot of the same emotions and feelings. So I think he would read some of the stuff I wrote and say, yeah, I get it. I get it right away. And it was just never a problem. Every now and then it would just be, hey, can you hit this a little harder or maybe soften up on this? But it was pretty much, it was like a painless process because he just got it right away.
That's pretty nice to have that with your fellow bandmate.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and he's known, I've always like had a passion for writing lyrics, so he's accepted that his stupid drummer wants to write some lyrics. It's always been an agreement we had, so, you know, it seemed to work out.
Well, it's cool that ego can be put aside for the greater good and overall band dynamic, because I imagine a lot of vocalists would be probably very precious and protective of lyrics.
It goes beneath who I am. It turns into the recklessness I felt. It comes around without a face. Can't redefine my subconscious mother. I can't be fixed. I can't be fixed. I can't be fixed. 'Cause I won't give. I can't be fixed. I can't be fixed. I can't be fixed. 'Cause I won't give.
All right, I got an idea. But it's got to stay between us. It's really simple. We just got to make an agreement. Or, no, it's more than an agreement.
What, a bet?
A pact. No money involved, more important than any bet. Here's the deal.
Well, I think a big part of it too was that we did have all these dreams together. Pretty well documented that we lived in a car together, and we really did, you know, we talked about it all the time, and we kept trying to work at it, and we waited for the day that it would happen. So there was like a bond between us. You know, we respected each other, so he wasn't going to turn around and tell me, no, you're not going to write lyrics now, you know, because we had talked about this and fought about making this happen so much that I think there was just a mutual respect. We worked really hard on this record.
The Height of Callousness and Self-Destructive Pattern album producer GGGarth features throughout the Life Is Peachy universe on various tracks and episodes. Links to all of his lip appearances can be found in the description of this interview. The Height of Callousness was Garth's first collaboration with Spineshank. With Garth, Spineshank would go on to be nominated for the Best Metal Performance Grammy Award for their single Smothered from 2003's Self-Destructive Pattern.
If you can find a band that is actually driven, you are a lucky man, because you want to feed off of that intensity, feed off of that drive, right? Because it's like, I care, I'm going to drive you into the ground. If you can keep up with me, or she beat me up, great, because then that becomes better and better and better and better, right?
Okay, did you think you had hit the jackpot when you knew Spineshank would be working with Garth Richardson?
Yeah, we were definitely excited about it because at the time he had done Kitty. Obviously, he did the Rage record, and you know, he was working on the Mudvayne record.
GGGarth celebrates the 25th anniversary of Mudvayne's debut over on the second channel, the Lip Mixtape Sessions. Find the link for track 26 in the description of this interview.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yeah, it just seems all the things he was saying, it was really cool, and it was like right up our alley. And we would ask him about, hey, we want this kind of sound. We want, you know, we just wanted everything to be dirty and ugly. And he was like, yeah, no problem. So we worked with him, and he was great, and he really pushed us, and he really fought for us too. The label would call and say, how's everything going? And he would just, everything's great. Don't worry. Yeah, you're going to get your singles. And then we go in and you record Cyanide 2600.
Yeah, the most unsingle song on the whole album.
Cyanide wasn't really done. I mean, we had an idea for a song. We didn't even have a full demo. There had been no vocals on it or anything. It was just, we have this idea of this completely electronic face melter song, but it wasn't done. And Garth was like, you got all these other songs, but why are you guys focused on this? And it was just, we have this vision, and we just want to make sure this one happens. And so he was definitely an ally, and it was great because he brought out the best of us. And I don't know if it was fun, but he brought out the best.
I'm gonna be all the way out there, all the way, just be out there in it, in the wild.
How did, if at all, recording in Canada impact the recording process of The Height of Callousness?
Well, here's the funny thing is that we had toured Diesel this whole time, and every time we'd be on a tour and they'd go to Canada, we weren't let in. They've never let us in Canada. We would have to sit at the border and sit there in a hotel for a day or two until they were done, and then we'd jump back on the tour. So Garth, he had a studio up in Canada he wanted to use, and the label said, well, if you guys get into Canada, you'll make a record. If you don't, then you're dropped. So yeah, and it was like, well, we've never been able to get in before, so why would that change now? So there was a lot of nerves leading up to that day. It was crazy because I hate flying. I'm deathly afraid to fly. Every time I step on a plane, I accept my own death.
Do it now! We're live right for our turn! No! We're not gonna make it! You are!
So the three guys went and they flew and they got in. I was like, great. And I took our guitar tech, who's like one of our best friends, and my son, and we drove. I was like, that's going to be the hard part because trying to get over that border. Somehow, miraculously, like it was just meant to be that we all got in.
And you're like the final piece of that puzzle to get across the border. So yeah, I mean, that's no extra pressure at all.
It really was. I felt like we were crossing the border with like drugs in the trunk of the car. I was just so nervous. Just in the pit of my stomach, it was like, they're going to say, no, you can't come in. It's all over in that one moment.
Guy told me one time, don't let yourself get attached to anything you are not willing to walk out on in 30 seconds flat if you feel the heat around the corner.
Our whole lives and our futures were really balanced on that literally one moment, and it was just so nerve-wracking and such a relief when they let us in. I was just like, oh my God.
We can make an album. We won't get dropped.
Yeah, well, we still might, but at least we're gonna drop on our own merits.
Oh yeah, true.
And then we basically brought them up to Canada. We did the record in Vancouver. It's great up here.
Played it till my fingers bled. Was the summer of 69.
Aside from crossing the border, how did all of that come to fruition? Garth coming into the production role for The Height of Callousness.
We had a list of people that we wanted, and we sent out demos, and Garth actually bit, so wow, okay. And then our label, our A&R guy Kevin, and us went and had a dinner with him, and the demos were very rough, but you could hear what was in there, And Garth's got a brilliant ear. So he knew what would come out of this, and he just said all the right things. He was excited about it, and to have a guy at that level be excited about your music made us more excited.
Yeah, for sure.
Which made us write more songs, which, hey, like we're getting a little bit closer. We're one step closer now because now we got the producer on board. Like I said, it seems like it was meant to be.
Do you remember what was on that demo?
They were all there. It was probably, I imagine it was Asthmatic, Synthetic, New Disease. Yeah, probably those. But I mean, they were very different. A lot of them are very different than they are now.
You trust me?
Of course I trust you.
Close your eyes.
Yeah. I think they tried to, which is a common thing to where you tend to basically try to get the band to be focused. It's a great story. When I met the band, we talked about it. I never go after hit singles. I go after a great body of work. And the one guy that I was talking to, that was the band, Mikey, just like about a year and a half ago, and he said, yeah, the label wanted us to use someone else because they wanted a more commercial sounding producer. I have never got into this to make hit records. I've just got into this to make really good records and ones that the band can be proud of. You know, that pissed off many a band because I really want what we're doing to be great.
On Wikipedia, it states the recording process took 6 weeks and Garth barred anyone from entering the studio, including label and management personnel. What merit is there to that, and how pivotal was Garth when it came to the process and the chemistry and productivity of the Height of Callousness?
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
Now, was I rushing or was I dragging? Count again.
You couldn't have done it without him. You know, he has his methods, which is like when I record now and I've recorded other bands, I use those same methods that Garth taught us because they work and they get results. But it really was. I mean, we were in Vancouver, where we already didn't know anybody, and then now nobody's allowed in the studio, and so it was like there's nothing to do but work. I mean, I think that's what he wanted.
The following is an excerpt from episode 14 of the Life Is Peachy Podcast with 40 Below Summer's Max Illich.
And he did the same thing, for example, to Johnny Santos from Spineshank, because he did their record about a year before he did ours, and then I think he did the record after ours as well. And I know that both times he really, really, really fucked with Johnny a lot, to the point where Johnny was like freaking out, threatening him and stuff like that.
I said things to him, and he was like, fuck you. I was like, fuck you, asshole. No, fuck you. No, fuck you. Go fucking sing, you piece of shit. And then he sang the vocal, and it was like, wow. So every band, I have to act differently with each band member. Johnny, who, again, kind soul, but my job was to kick the shit out of him. Johnny just had to be focused. Yeah, but if you ask him that, he'll be, curse asshole. Yeah, but I only have to do that because I want him to be great.
Don't forget to check out episode 14 of the Life Is Peachy Podcast with Garth, 40 Below Summer, Invitation to the Dance. All links are in the description of this interview.
Step into the sideshow. Hindsight being 2020, today I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm all right with that because in the end, it really doesn't matter how I felt about Garth or, his tactics. In the end, it mattered what the end result was and how this record, how it's going to represent everybody involved and us as a band, and growth. Growth is key. Garth is one of those guys who, it wasn't just the singing parts of it. There's a difference between me screaming in a song, doing a heavy song screaming. Then there's the version of me doing that where you actually fucking scared because of the way my voice sounds. It's like, it sounds like there's some terror going on there.
Got a lot of hot, kid, you know that? Wanna play?
Hold on.
That's not even my desk.
The label's calling you and they're telling you they want singles and they want this and they want that. Whether you want it to or not, it seeps into your head, especially at the point we were where we might not make a record. It might not come out. So, of course, you want them to be happy. But we didn't have to worry about that because Garth was in between us and them. So we could just concentrate and focus on finishing the record because, you know, we had it during the writing and the demo phase. And then now, you know, Garth protected us from anything else while we recorded. So it could be as pure as that record could be. It really was our vision and what we wanted. And to this day, I could still say, like, yep, that's what that record was supposed to be.
One of the things about this album is that production value. It really contributes to standing the test of time. It's that lightning in a bottle, capturing something so visceral and raw, but yeah, the level of production and soundscape on this thing is mammoth. And that's such a great combination to have sonically with the Spineshank sound.
Yeah, Garth's like meticulous with the way they do things. Him and his engineer, Dean Marr, they always had great ideas and they knew exactly, you tell them, hey, I want this kind of sound. And then 10 minutes later, you got that kind of sound. So it was a really cool experience.
You guys tired?
I'll get all the sleep I need when I'm dead. Thanks for the dance.
What other memories do you have recording the drums for this album? I mean, whether they're shared with Garth, band members, or just for yourself? I mean, how did it feel afterwards? Were you drained? Were you relieved? What memories stack up from the Height of Callousness sessions?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I was drained. But, you know, the recording the drums on this was kind of a blur. I think I did it in 2 days. You know, the drums always got to get taken out of the way right away, first thing. I don't really remember. The thing I remember is that we used this drum kit, this Canadian drum kit called A-Yacht. And they sounded amazing, and they're just like big, like John Bonham, bombastic type of sound. Once I was done, I just felt relief on my end, and I was like, I don't know, we might have something here. I mean, that's it. Like I said, a lot of it was a blur because it was just so like super focused on doing this and recording and making it perfect, playing as best as I could, and that's what I tried to do. So it all just fucking flew by. I know there's a lot of drummers in bands where they, okay, I've tracked my parts, I'll see you guys on tour, but I like to be there. I like to be there for every single part of it. I like to oversee things and make sure it's going the way that I personally want. Yeah. But, you know, I always have my vision, and I want to make sure that it's represented. So it wasn't over for me, but I was glad I was able to pull it off. And, you know, I get stressed out, I got anxiety, so I'm always nervous about stuff like that. So I was relieved on that end, but, you know, hey, there's still so much more work to do.
Do you recall a favorite track to write drums to or record your drums to?
My two favorite songs on that record are Asthmatic and Height of Callousness.
Nice.
Height of Callousness, that beat, that little beat I have in the verses, it's a really fun beat to play, so I always look forward to that one. Then and again, you know, Negative Space, that one's kind of cool because it starts off in 7/8 time and then it goes to 4/4, and then we end with the same riff from the beginning that was in 7/8, Instead, this time we changed it to 9/8. Thought that was pretty cool, to be able to do that. And we had never really messed with time signatures back then, until then. So yeah, I like those a lot.
Oh, well, the funny thing is I push people. You have to understand, I came from the old school to where you would actually show up at the studio at noon and you could go home at 5 in the morning. And you would work your ass off. It's like I'm a bit of a perfectionist to where making records is not easy. It's extremely difficult. It's hard. It's passionate. You got to leave everything on the table. It's kind of like a hockey team to me. We win there as a team. But you know what? Art isn't supposed to be easy. And that record, I think, testifies to that, to where they made a great record.
And the process of recording with Garth, laying down your drums, was it a lot of takes, playing it through from start to finish with some drop-ins? I mean, we've heard the horror stories with Johnny. How hard were you worked?
Compared to Johnny, I got it pretty easy. I mean, I would probably do 2 or 3 takes of each song, and then we would either take the best one or they would comp the best parts of each one and make like the master take. We didn't really have to do any drop-ins or anything. It was just, let's play the song as perfect as possible 3 times, and then hopefully there's some magic in there somewhere, and we'll try to bring it out.
And I'm going back to this Wikipedia page. It also details 50 songs were written for the album, 16 recorded with Garth, with 11 track listed. How accurate is this?
Oh, how it pains me to do this.
Wait, I still function.
Wanna bet?
Can you talk about the process of filtering through the material and deciding what would make the final cut?
But I think it was a pretty easy process that everyone agreed on. The strong ones were fairly obvious. There were the 2 B-sides, but I love those 2 songs, but if you listen to them, you could hear that they don't have the aggression the rest of the record does. So I think that's why they were pulled off. We probably did pick the heaviest songs that we had because it was just, we wanted to, like a barn burner.
To be or not to be? Not to be.
Specifically, if we look at the 2 singles forefronting this album, it also really highlights another strength of Spineshank.
Maybe I'm wrong on this one, but for me, the beast doesn't include selling out.
Amongst all this barn burning, you guys have the ability to inject seamless hook and melody, these anthemic choruses and moments, without taking away from any of that intensity and anguish. Spineshank are masters of that, and as previously discussed in episode 28, you guys took that to a whole new level with Self-Destructive Pattern. And so with those 2 singles from the Height of Callousness, yeah, I just love saying the Height of Callousness. Sounds amazing. There comes 2 epic music videos, and on a side note, the narrative universe of Synthetic was recently explored in greater detail to celebrate the 25th anniversary of its killer music video. I'll link to that in the description. Freek Productions, a fellow Lit patron, has done something very special with Spineshank for this, for the fans, so be sure to check that out. backtrack once again. This is coming off Strictly Diesel, which featured zilch music videos, and so we go from that to these two high-end productions. And it's the year 2000, smack bang in the era where it really seemed like Road on Records were putting some serious dough into these videos. I mean, they still look so damn amazing today. What memories do you have shooting Synthetic and New Disease with music video director Nathan Cox?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Synthetic was the first video. We never got to do a video for Diesel. Synthetic was the first one we ever got to do, and our friend Nathan Cox, he directed it.
Cold Chamber, Loco, Tie Jonathan Down by Videodrome, Stupefied, Disturbed, Paper Cut, and In the End from Linkin Park, Suicide Silence, You Only Live Once.
Everything in Life is Peachy is linked. Episodes compound to create a lip universe. Always check the links in each episode description to explore that universe further.
Eat a peach for hours.
Nathan's even done vocals with JD on the Straight Up Lynn Straight tribute album. The guy's done huge work.
I confide in nothing, I just
Do I have to get naked people for you to remember my name? It's Lynn from Snot.
Oh yeah, he's a great guy. I talked to him just the other day. But it was just so crazy to me, even though we had just done this record and we were super excited about it and we felt very strongly about it, to go to this set. There's a video set and it's for our stupid band. It had that, that Synthetic thing where they had all the computer screens and it was in the white room and there's, actors there, and it was just like, there's a damn robot walking around. Like, what I mean? What's happening here? Like, for us, we're like, this is crazy.
And the action.
Wow.
That was a first for me, too.
Yeah, making videos is a long, hard process, too. You're there all day long, just shooting, do it again. And I don't know if drummers know this, so they do shots of the whole band, and then they do like separate shots. So then they'll do some single shots of me playing drums. Then they'll do some single shots of Rob. But the single shots of Rob also have a drummer behind him, so I gotta keep playing with Rob's single shots. And then with everyone's single shot, so every shot that we did that day, I was part of it. And all those guys, they just got to rest and relax, and I just had to be a part of every single thing because, hey, why is there a drum set back there with no drummer?
Yeah, man, the drummers definitely have it rough when it comes to the music video shoot. And also, I mean, yeah, you just can't turn the drum kit off. So there's the whole guitar, bass, vocals can play along to the playback. They're turned off and it's miming, so to speak. But drums, you just can't do that. You can deaden some of the noise, but you can't turn those kit pieces off. You need to find that balance, and it's a delicate balance between the PA and its playback and the kit's volume. And everyone else that's in the band in that same shot needs to hear the song too, over the kit.
But wait, there's more. Twist my words the way that you do, 'cause it falls on deaf ears now. But they're still inside me.
And along with all of that, there's the showmanship of your performance. You hearing the song enough and playing the right thing to also then look like you're playing naturally and the performance looks authentic and you're not, leaning your head to the side, trying to decipher the track, blasting over the speakers. Or do we use in-ears and see them in the shot? Does that work? Is that okay? Does it look good? I mean, it doesn't end with the drums.
No, but it's even worse because the cymbals, in order to quiet them down, they like glue two cymbals together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like hitting a brick.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a full day's work when you're a drummer on set.
I was thrilled because it's like, hey, we're actually making a video, and again, we're one step closer to this whole dream thing happening, so it was definitely fun.
Yeah, man, for sure. And both are such great videos. Did Nathan do both of them?
No, he just did that one. I can't remember offhand who did New Disease.
Because again, that's also a really great video. It's just so cool to have those two back to back and to your name.
Yeah, I like the darkness of the New Disease video. I think the band shots are really cool in that. We went up to a house in the Hollywood Hills. It's a beautiful house, and we just sat up there and played, and we had a couple cute girls there, you know, acting in the video. That's always a nice plus.
Living the life.
My condolences. How you holding up?
I keep asking why her.
There's no rhyme or reason to this life. It's days like today scattered among the rest.
Are you sure?
Don't blame yourself.
I don't remember as much about that video. I think Synthetic, since it was my first one, I remember more of it. Actually, the funny thing is about that, when we recorded New Disease, we were on tour with Orgy, and we were in Chicago. So we had to fly home. We had a day off from the tour, so we flew home, did the video, recorded like 16 hours or 17 hours that day, and then flew back and played a show. Literally off the plane, onto the stage.
Oh.
Just dead tired, exhausted. I don't know how we pulled it off. It was one of the only nights on a Spineshank tour bus where after the show, it was just quiet and everyone was sleeping.
There can be only one.
No partying. There was no one was being a maniac. It's pretty rough.
That must have been when Orgy were touring for Vapor Transmission.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, and earlier you mentioned that 18-month stint out on the road, and there were some amazing tours for the Height of Callousness with Head PE, Orgy for Vapor Transmission, Disturbed, Dry Cool Logic, Ozfest Festival. What was it like touring this album and playing these songs live? Because obviously you guys are really proud of the track listing and probably really eager to get out there and connect with the fans through this new music.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at this point, the record had come out and there was some hype behind it and people were liking it. We were getting good reviews and that really pumped us up. So it put us in a different category at a different level. And you see people started respecting us and, whoa, that band is that's the real deal. We wanted to match it live. So every day it was like, again, it was, you have to bleed every night and put everything you can into it. And it was a couple days after the record had come out and people are singing along. That happened a little bit on Diesel, but not to this extent. So it was like, wow, people are getting it. It was just crazy. We start hearing Spineshank chants before we play, and it was like, what's happening here? It was a surprise, but it was a relief at the same time because with everything that led up to making this record, we didn't think it was going to happen. And so to see it come out and actually resonate with people was the best.
Oh, tingles, man.
yeah. You started in with the, asthmatic, and then there's 10 kids on top of the crowd and a huge pit. And it's like, wow, this is everything I've ever wanted.
still becomes a new disease.
You just kind of mentioned the hope of everything working out, and there's that afterthought of, well, what if this didn't resonate and pan out? Do you remember, and let's just say for the sake of the question, on the eve of the album's release, you've got these songs done and dusted in your pocket, the Height of Callousness is about to come out. How were you feeling on the eve of releasing the Height of Callousness onto the world?
I was feeling pure excitement. I think, where were we? I don't remember where we were when it got released, but I know we were supposed to be on there was this tour back then called Tattoo the Earth.
Yeah.
You know, it was like Slayer, Slipknot, Hatebreed, Mudvayne, every cool band from the time. They added us last minute and they're like, you got to get to Portland right away. So we like packed up our stuff and jumped in a van and like sped off to Portland. We get to Portland and we hear the announcer goes, and here they are, Spineshank. We're like, damn, we're still in the van.
Oh, dude.
And so then you hear Mudvayne playing, so I guess we missed our set. The tour was pissed off at us because they thought we weren't taking it serious, but it's like we made a 16-hour drive in like 14 hours, and we busted our ass to get there, but we just couldn't do it. So we ended up following that tour like all the way to New York, Giant Stadium, where Metallica headlined, and we never got to play. They never let us play.
Oh man, that's rough.
Yeah, I think they were just upset that, you know, maybe we were irresponsible and we didn't care, we weren't taking it serious. But I mean, we were bummed out because that was such a great tour and it would have been our first festival we ever did, and we were just super excited. And the record might have come out around that time. I can't be sure, but either way, we were now like in a different league where we were getting tours like that. You know, we were with those bands. Those were our peers now, so that was definitely cool.
The way this album resonated back then, and on top of that, introducing the band to a whole new wave of fans like myself, is testament to you guys stepping up and taking everything to the next level. And to be rewarded with that 18 months slugging it out on the road, it just goes to show that there was something very special about this album. I mean, that's the proof right there. And over the years, many outlets, publications, polls, and reviews have rated the Height of Callousness in a lot of their top tier lists. Why is it, do you think, this album has resonated with so many people over the years?
I just think, I mean, there was so much in it and it was like so real. The anger's real. The sadness in it is real. The frustration is all real. And it was four guys, just more than four, because if you add the production team and you add the people at Roadrunner, everyone was just super like laser focused on what we wanted to do. We wouldn't stop until it came out the way it had to be perfect. So, hey, you can do that vocal a little bit better. And he'd go back in and he'd do it and he'd do it better. Nobody wanted to stop until it was absolutely perfect, till we thought it was perfect. And I think that's why there's a lot of heart and soul in that record.
Yeah, it bleeds out of this album. I kind of feel it's like in the speakers and they're bleeding when I listen to it. I mean, that's in there, that's in your sound.
So what are you gonna do, Lisa?
I'm gonna kill him.
That's some heavy shit.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's what you want, that real emotion. You want that emotion. You want to bleed with the band, you know, like what I mean? I mean, not literally, but you want to bleed that emotion in the music with them. And even if we don't make music, a person can still sniff out if something is or isn't authentic.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, the Tommy Decker 25 years ago to the Tommy Decker right now. Here with me on episode 42 of the Life Is Peachy podcast. How do the two compare and contrast?
Well, that guy was an idiot back then. No, I think for the most part, I'm kind of the same person. You know, I have the same issues and thoughts that I've always had. But obviously, you know, with age, you gain a little bit of wisdom and a little bit smarter. I'm not as wild as I used to be. I felt like I was indestructible back then. Now I'm like, I wake up in the morning and it's like, oh, my back. I don't do like stupid things like I used to. I don't drive as fast as I used to and just normal things like that. But I think overall, I'm still kind of the same guy. Still like the same kind of stuff. Listen to the same type of music. Just a little uglier and a little older and a little wiser.
just like a lot of the fans that listen to and love the Height of Callousness.
Yeah.
We're all in the same boat.
Wait, that was you back then? God damn, what happened?
Yeah, the music's timeless, ages like a fine wine, mate. But the rest of us, maybe not so much.
Yeah, everything else went downhill.
One ugly motherfucker.
Oh man, well, as you know, I've really been looking forward to this, and I just want to say thank you for taking the time to come back to the podcast and celebrate the 25th anniversary of, for the last time, the Height of Callousness.
Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate the love and your support. I appreciate you having me, and the fact that this record means something to you also, it makes me feel proud, and this record made a friend out of us, It never stops giving.
Oh, that's really lovely to hear, man. Just as you were saying that, I was having a flashback to being back in high school. Me and one of my oldest and closest friends, we're still best friends to this day, just Friday nights at each other's place, or each other's parents' place, drinking pre-mixed cans of Scotch and Coke, bourbon and Coke, playing our songs. He was the guitarist in our new metal band that we started in high school called Fake. But yeah, we would play. He'd be on his guitar and I'd be on the mic, but we're miming our favorite songs. Similar maybe to like what you do in a music video. We're miming to our favorite songs, our favorite bands, and we'd be playing Spineshank. And it was
really?
these songs, New Disease, Synthetic, Asthmatic, in the lounge room of the house, of course. I mean, there we were performing these pretend concerts. And Spineshank were a band that we bonded over. They were one of the bands that made us brothers, and it has just followed us ever since. That's some of my most treasured memories right there. At a time in life where we looked up to bands and also believed it could be possible for us as mates to do exactly the same, be one of those bands. So even just thinking about that mate of mine, and shout out to Jordan, I love you, man. Thinking of him listening to this podcast and this interview right now is just such a trip down memory lane, and you would be responsible for creating a lot of special moments between friends thanks to your music. It's just something I just wanted to add. Spineshank have definitely had a positive impact on a lot of people around the world.
Thank you. That's really cool. I mean, I have heard a lot of people talk about dark times in their life and how this record got them through, and how they related to the lyrics. And as much as the music means to me, it always surprises me that it could do that for someone. Always made me proud that if our little songs can help someone, get through a rough time, that's not something I ever even would imagine it could be, but music is pretty powerful.
And the fact that these songs are now getting played again and another lease on life around the world for those people that were there with the band a quarter of a century ago, and just like we talked about before, now also a new wave of Spineshank fans and the next generation of listeners. Oh, it's such an exciting time, and just goes to show how timeless this album truly is.
Yeah, I'm excited, and like I said, it's so weird to me because that last tour we did, it was maybe 12 years ago. It seemed like Spineshank couldn't get arrested, like nobody cared, and it really made me I don't want to hear this record. I don't want to hear it anymore, and it made me feel like, I guess in the end, ultimately, this record failed. So I felt like that for a lot of years, just until recently with all this new hype that's coming out. I listened to it again, and it's like, you know what? It is good. Like, I was right. I knew I was right from the beginning, but it really did take its toll on me with the way it ended. And to see kids now, 19, 20 years old, and they're wearing Spineshank shirts, and see them on eBay going for like $100, $200, all this old memorabilia. It's crazy that, that something we did so long ago still matters to this day. And as happy and proud as I am of that record, I never really saw this happening where it's 25 years later. Like I said, that's classic rock.
No joke, man. I mean, that's a quarter of a century.
When I was a kid, music genre, it would change so drastically in that time that it wouldn't even sound anything. Like 20 years ago, the music sounded so different from what it does now. They were polar opposites, but now it's like 25 years ago, it doesn't sound that old.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as your son was saying about the album, if Spotify recommended me this today and I checked it out, I'd be like, okay, what the hell is this? This is amazing.
Cool. I mean, and you would think not with the electronic sounds, they base you on a time period.
Yeah, I mean, that's so true. I mean, like visual effects in a movie, it can do a similar thing, right? It can really age it to that place and time.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. This one kind of doesn't. It just, I don't know. We got lucky.
So true though, with that digital aspect potentially aging music. Again, with the movie thing, sometimes I rewatch a 90s movie and I'm just thinking, wait, did it really look like this back then? Did it look that bad when this came out? I mean, I'm thinking first thing that comes to mind, the end of Blade, for example. Classic, amazing movie, but the visual effects, some of them towards the end, oh wow, yeah, the Scorpion King, how he looks in The Mummy Returns. Jesus.
Yeah, you could pick the date just by the effects.
Yep.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
But what an era for soundtracks. Check out episode 1 for a mini deep dive into the influx of 90s, early 2000s new metal infused movie soundtracks and the beauty of B-sides.
And so, with that 25 years of life experience and retrospect, where does the Height of Callousness sit with you personally and creatively within your back catalogue of work?
You know, if you asked me like a couple years ago, it would have been second, because I was very proud of a lot of the songs on Anger Denial. I felt like there was a lot of growth musicianship-wise and songwriting-wise. But when I look back on that record, there's also a lot of songs on there that I would take off now. On every record, there would be certain songs that I would take off. On Height of Callousness, I wouldn't change a thing. That record gave me the time of my life, and I got to experience so many like amazing things that I never thought I would get to do. And that record made it all happen for me. So, and again, like I said, I've been re-listening because I got to remember these songs, and I just go back and say, wow, that's a cool guitar sound we have there. That was a cool part. I wonder, how do we think of that? It's real and it's from the heart, and it really does remind me of that time frame where we were all focused on the same thing, and it was do or die. And while it was scary, it was exciting at the same time. It was like, we have to get this done, we have to do it right. And it was just four friends, you know, four dumbasses that got together and made something happen.
You're not mad?
Oh, man. Can't tell you, it was one of the best times I ever had.
Obviously, it landed with people because all these years later, it's still here. It's my favorite. It's number one.
must be a pretty amazing feeling to have an album in your back catalogue where you say you wouldn't change a thing. I don't know if many people could even say that with regards to their own stuff. It's probably what most people would aspire to.
What's funny is at the time when we had just finished the mix, I wanted to change all kinds of things. No, we'll turn this up, turn that down, do this. We need to redo that vocal. Let's do this. I had just a million, because you're in that world, you're nitpicking. It's everything, you want all to be perfect. And then just looking back on it, listening with different ears as just like, listen to the music. It's there. You can't change anything now, stupid. But I'm happy with it. Everything sounds good. I think Johnny sounds amazing on that record. I love all the tones. Everyone's playing well. Rob sounds, him and Johnny are just two monsters singing there. Yeah, I love it. It's like probably my crowning achievement. I'm very proud of it.
And lips, there we have it, episode 42 of the Life Is Peachy podcast, and my chat with founding member and drummer of the mighty Spineshank, Mr. Tommy Decker. There's a few other Spineshank related interviews throughout the Lip universe, so make sure to check this episode's description for all those links and details. And that includes checking out content over on the secondary channel. Be sure to follow the links in the episode's description and subscribe to the Lip Mixtape Sessions, my second podcast channel. The Lip Mixtape Sessions is a more stripped back Q&A driven podcast featuring Mudvayne and Kitty album celebrations with producer Garth Richardson, GGGarth, interviews with members of Willhaven, Sworn In, Tommy Decker of Spineshank, as mentioned, Fear Factory's Dino Cazares, Sepultura's Andreas Kisser, Rob Flynn and ex-Machine Head drummer Dave McLean, and members of Crazy Town, Sunk Lodo, Vision of Disorder, Head PE, and Fly of Change.
Okay, my friend. Try and experience what I'm about to chirp in your lobes, okay, cool?
Be sure to subscribe over on Spotify, search Lip Mixtape Sessions. A very important moment here. I want to say a huge thank you to the Lip Virtual Tip Jar patrons and to Darren, John, Michael, Rowan, and Zach spinning the CD Discman, Fly of Change, Julian, Majika, Remy, and Vaginator rocking that Michael Bolton tier. Wow. If you guys want to join the Lip Patreon crew and of course be rewarded for it, head over to
patreon.com/Life Is Peachy Podcast
to grab your additional unreleased episode content, early guest and album info, and a bunch more, all exclusive to Patreon under the Michael Bolton tier. Any support is greatly appreciated and makes a massive difference towards the time and energy it takes bringing these episodes to you. I know all creators say this, but for real, it's actually the truth. You guys keep the lights on and the music flowing. Even just sharing this episode or telling your friends to check out the podcast really makes a difference.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
So let's continue connecting over all of this amazing music and the endless nostalgic moments throughout 2025 and beyond until we hang out again as always.
See you at the party, Richter.
And bye-bye.
I can eat a peach for hours.
This episode was written, edited, and produced by myself, recorded from the comfort of my own home.
DIY style.
With each guest calling in from wherever they happen to be around the world at that particular time. The Life is Peachy theme song is an original tune for this podcast written by Tim Richardson.
The Life is Peachy podcast is not monetized. All music rights and credits go to its rightful owners.
Further details can be found in this episode's description. All artwork is original and illustrated for the Life is Peachy podcast by Chris Lisa Liefting.